All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. In today's video, I'm talking California Dream for All. You guys know me, and the reason why you guys are here, partly, I believe, is because I'm going to give it to you raw, like the Wu-Tang Clan, shimmy, shimmy, yaw, shimmy, yay. Sidetracked, I'm sorry. Good, bad, ugly. California Dream for All. There's pros, there's cons, there's some things that there's humongous misconceptions about. So I'm going to go into as much detail as you guys want me to, answering direct question. I just recorded a video. CalHFA has a couple things out, most commonly asked questions. How much is the equity share? What are the income limits? How much do I have to pay back? All of these things, great questions. I would love it if live in real time, you guys were firing away questions at me. If not, comment on the YouTube video a month from now or 2 months from now. I'll answer the questions there. But right now, as we speak, April 2024, we've got up until Monday, April 29th, where the voucher registration portal is open. First, before you even go to there, you have to talk to an approved lender, get yourself pre-approved, and have a pre-approval letter to be able to submit your application to CalHFA. Real quick, if you want to connect me and my team, we are processing applications for California Dream for All. Mitch Guidry, who's in my office, is the one handling all that. So greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the form, and we will be sure to get back with you. If you want to connect directly with Mitch, M. Guidry at umortgage.com is his email. I just typed it in here so it was spelled correctly. M. Guidry, Guidry at umortgage.com. He's handling all these. He's the expert on it. I didn't want, me to handle some, him to handle some, and it to be a bunch of people who knew a little bit. Rather let one person be the expert. He handles it for the whole branch. And so that's the first step. And even on CalHFA's website, they say, talk to an approved lender to ensure this program is a good fit for you and get your Dream for All pre-approval letter. With that being said, one, not everyone's going to qualify. And by qualify, I mean, not everyone's going to get a voucher. It's a lottery system. Two, it might not be the program for you anyway, but the first step in getting yourself pre-approved, the first step in home ownership is just talking to somebody. Talk to somebody who knows these things. Quick public service announcement, because this is also on CalHFA's website. A bunch of scams out there. There's third-party sites that are, I heard somebody tell me this the other day. Now crooks are good, man. Crooks are good. They are having people pay them to guarantee that they'll get you one of these vouchers, to guarantee that in this lottery, you're going to win a seat at the table and be able to participate in California Dream for All. Does not exist, right? It's a lottery system. It's all done through CalHFA. Trusted lender, getting you pre-approved. Your application goes through CalHFA's website. So no matter what the website is, if someone created a California Dream for All program.com, California Dream for All, whatever the heck it is, .net, .org, .anything, just make sure you're talking to a lender you like and trust, and it's going through CalHFA. So, and they'll never charge you a fee. That's the thing, right? Is people are collecting fees and saying, we'll help you apply for that Dream for All voucher. Just pay us a little fee. Not legit. So avoid scams at all costs. And before I get any questions, which again, fire away if you've got live questions, I'm going to go through a few things. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I've got a long form video that's going to go out on this Thursday. So Thursday, April 18th, goes over some of this stuff. And I think these are, important questions and questions that are most commonly asked. But before I go through What is it? Maximum loan, all that other thing. I just want to reiterate this again because this is the most important part of today's video. This program, while it will fit for some and will be a good option for some, it's not for everybody. I literally was at the AT&T store earlier today. Kid working there asked me a question about what do I do. I talked about mortgage. I talked about going live on YouTube to talk about California Dream for All. And I just told them, listen, you're going to be partners with the state of California. You're going to pay back not only what you borrowed, but a share of the appreciation. Also, you're going to have a second lien that's behind your first mortgage. This is going to hinder you from refinancing, which most people getting mortgages in 2024 are talking about future refinance. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And I think people want a magic bullet. They want the secret sauce. They want something that's like, what are you going to do for me? I'm a first-time home buyer. Where's the free money being dropped? I want to be under this helicopter when it's just dropping bags of free money for first-time home buyers. Apologies in advance. It doesn't exist. Most down payment assistance programs, most every program out there that is aimed at first-time home buyers will give you one thing, whether that's down payment assistance, whether that's a lower down payment in return for something. Might be higher fees, might be interest on a silent second that you pay back at a later date, might be an equity piece of this property, like the California Dream for All. But there's no free lunch. And anybody who tells you there is trying to sell you something. That is the God's honest truth. So with all that out of the way, let's get into frequently asked questions. And you know what? Let's do it this way. I think this is better for learning. This came out in January, so maybe some of this stuff has changed, but California, CalHFA put this out. Kudos to them for putting out a bunch of education. And they know what questions they're getting. They know what questions their lender partners are getting. So without further ado, what is the Dream for All shared appreciation loan? It's a shared appreciation loan program that provides loans for down payment for qualified home buyers. Qualified is important because to be qualified, you'll see as we get into this, you have to be not only a first-time home buyer, but a first-generation home buyer. Parents can't have ownership on at least one of the borrowers. Has to be first generation. Upon sale or transfer of the home buyer repays the original down payment loan plus a share of the appreciation in the value of the home. Those repayments are then used to fund future home buyer down payments. So that's, they're saying, this program, once we get repayment on it, we're going to use it for other programs, which is likely the truth. What's the maximum loan amount for the shared appreciation loan? This is new. This wasn't available in the first round. As some of you may or may not remember, 2023, we had version 1, California Dream for All. I think it was $250 million. I think it was all accounted for and earmarked in the first 9 business days. So they're doing it different and they're doing it better. Will they get it perfect? Probably not. But one of the things was $1.5 million home. People were getting $300,000 from this Dream for All program. And so, it was 20% of the down payment, regardless of how big of that down payment it was. Now it's capped at either 20% of the sales price or appraised value or $150,000, whichever is less. So you can do the math, gets you almost up to an $800,000 purchase with 20% down, and they will provide that. Doesn't mean you can't buy a bigger home. You could do a $1 million house with $150,000 down and, have an $850,000 house in the Bay Area. You just won't get the full 20% because they're capped at $150,000 per borrower. Do all borrowers have to be first generation home buyers? Like I talked about, first generation, parents didn't have ownership. No, Only one borrower has to meet the definition of first generation home buyer. So one of the borrowers can have parents who had ownership, but one of them has to be first generation. Minimum CLTV, 95 is the minimum combined loan to value. Do all borrowers have to be a current California resident? Nope. Only one has to be current. So maybe one of them's a California resident, one of them's coming from somewhere else and applying for this program jointly. Only one has to be a current California resident. What are the income limits for the shared appreciation loan? So I will show you this because I've got it right here. Pretty generous income limits. Anywhere from, I think the lowest is some of the Fresno and Glenn County, Humboldt County, 132,000. And in those counties, it's more affordable to buy. Up to the fancy counties, San Mateo, San Francisco, those are 277,000. You can make 277,000 and still qualify for this California Dream for All shared appreciation program. And I'll get into the shared appreciation part of this, because I think that's one part that people might not understand. Are you required to make monthly payments on the shared appreciation loan? Nope. They are deferred until this thing gets sold, refinanced, paid off. Does CalHFA allow borrowers to make payments? This was interesting. I was reading this. Like, yes, you can. They apply to the principal and they don't lower the portion of shared appreciation that California gets. So like if they give you $100,000 on a $500,000 purchase, meaning they get 20% of the upside of, you know, the appreciation over the next few years, you can't a year from now be like, hey, I'm going to pay off that $100,000. You guys let us borrow and all the appreciation is ours now. No longer the case. Cannot do that. So paying off principal balance, you can do. Doesn't change their equity stake in your property. So some real quick math, and I think this might seem complicated. It's really not. $500,000 purchase. They give you $100,000, which is 20% of the sales price. They now get 20% of the appreciation. So 6 years from now, you sell it for $700,000. That's $200,000 in appreciation between what you bought it for and what it's now worth. You owe back to California the original $100,000 that you borrowed for down payment. Again, this is a loan. It's not a grant. You pay them back plus $40,000, which is 20% of how much it increased in value. So you pay them back $140,000. Where borrowers will get in trouble is you might be in a position down the road where you're trying to get this thing paid off and you don't necessarily want to have this partner anymore. You can't forget about the fact that they're not only getting back the down payment assistance that they gave you, but a piece of the appreciation. I saw this with other products where people were a little bit shocked, right? And who knows how this is going to go if somebody's going to hold on to one of these things for like 17 years and then they owe the, you know, state $380,000 on a you know, original balance of 150. We'll see. Quickly too, if you are less than 80% of the area median income, you pay back less. You pay back a 0.75 factor of that appreciation that California shares in. So I don't know why they used a different number for this example. They should have used the save $500,000 to make it easier. But in the case where the home went up by $200,000 and 20% of that is $40,000 to be shared, you take that $40,000, you multiply it by 0.75, you only pay them back 30 because you're less than 80% of the area median income. So you're only paying back 75 cents on every dollar of the 20% appreciation if you fall into that category. And it shows it here. 1-to-1 if you're above 80% AMI, 0.75 to 1 if you're below 80% AMI. Let me know if you guys, if my volume is good. I've been having mic issues. Hopefully you guys can hear me fine. And I would love for you guys to fire away questions you guys have, because going through this is going to be the same sort of information I have in my long form video on Thursday, but I like with it when a Q&A has got some more Q's so I can give the A's. Can you combine it with a Cal HFA first mortgage? The answer is yes, and it must be. You can't bring in your own first mortgage and get the Dream for All shared appreciation loan in the second position. There used to be some Cal HFA products back in the day where you could bring any old first to the table, and they would use their down payment assistance programs behind those. Now, most of their programs require, yes, you can do our down payment assistance program. You have to use Cal HFAs first. What Cal HFA first mortgage loans are eligible with this one only can be combined with the specific Dream for All conventional loan, which Cal HFA, to their credit, if you want to talk about pros and cons, I got to mention the pros with the cons. The rates on these things are pretty good. Quick timeout to acknowledge Joey Garessi, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the #1 seed in the Western Conference of the National Basketball Association. Joey, kudos to your team, man. I hope it plays out how I hope it plays out, which is the Kings beat the Golden State Warriors tonight, knock them out of playoff contention. The Pelicans, who play the Lakers, we're going to play the loser of that for the 8th seed. And so the Pelicans beat the Lakers tonight. The Kings beat the Warriors tonight. Then on Friday, the Kings play the Lakers for the #8 seed, which is the seed that will play the Oklahoma City Thunder, 1 versus 8 in the Western Conference. So kudos to you and your team. Yeah, definitely pumped that OKC is the #1 seed in the West. And man, whoever gets the 8th seed in this little play-in tournament Tuesday through Friday gets the pleasure of playing OKC. I hope it's the Sacramento Kings. We got to start with the first step, which is beat the Warriors tonight. And that game tips off in about 3 hours and 41 minutes. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, back to it. Let's answer some mortgage questions. Al or AI, what if one of the borrowers is a first-generation immigrant and their parents own a house in their country? Would they qualify for Dream for All? That's a really great program. And in mortgage, I try to coach other loan officers to do what I'm about to do. I'm not sure. Let me check on that. Versus make something up. Here is my guess, though, Al. My guess is that you would qualify for Dream for All. Being a first-generation immigrant. For instance, my wife, first generation, her side of the family owns land in Montenegro, in Albania. There is nothing that's going to come up in any search for property that's going to show us that there's ownership in a foreign country for that family. So the more I think about it, the more I'm 99% positive, Al. If you come from another country and you're first generation immigrant, there's no ownership interest in U.S. property. You're first generation homeowner in the U.S. I'll fire that question off, though, to my people at either Cal HFA or Sierra Pacific, which is where we broker those loans through. So great question. And I think the answer is yes, you would qualify. So That's that. Keep firing away the great questions. I love the great questions. Let me see what else we got here for who can originate these. This is an important one, right? Because you have to talk to a lender who's approved by CalHFA. A lot of lenders are, and quite honestly, you just got to make sure it's a lender who knows their way around CalHFA and their programs. On the broker side, I can tell you with absolute certainty, the wholesale lender who the broker uses is vitally important. Sierra Pacific on the broker side is far and away the best at CalHFA specific programs. They know the programs, their systems are integrated, they can get it done in a timely fashion. And so these are the things you might not necessarily know to ask as a borrower, but you could say, how many loans, does your office generally do through CalHFA? How long have you guys been connected with CalHFA? As somebody who's been in Sacramento and directly connected to a bunch of the corporate CalHFA folks, I can tell you that there's people that have been sending loans for decades to CalHFA. They're probably a better bet than somebody who's going to try their first ever CalHFA loan with your loan. What areas are eligible anywhere within the state of California? This is an interesting caveat that they didn't put here, but I know because I heard it. Last time there was a crazy disparity on what certain counties got as far as funding. Sacramento specifically got like 11% of the funds, the last wave of California Dream for All. They put something in place where that won't happen again. They won't allow it. They're going to have caps on each county on how much funding each county is going to get. So yes, all areas of California are eligible, and no, they won't allow, Los Angeles County to get 20% of the funds or Sacramento County to get 15% of the Dream for All funds. It's going to be dispersed, I think, by like size of county. Is homebuyer education required? Yes, indeedy. I locked into a different loan. Can I switch it up? No. Can the shared appreciation loan be used for down payment and closing costs? Yes, it can. Meaning you can get 13% from them, and you can put 10% down plus cover the closing costs. And so your loan is, you buy something for $500,000, you get $65,000 in, this shared appreciation loan, which is 13%. So you're going to share with California 13% of the upside, and that's your 10% down payment plus all the closing costs. So you got a $450,000 loan that you pay back. You've got this $65,000 that you owe to California Dream for All. And does that fit? Like it's maxed? Yeah, it's maxed at 105% combined loan to value. So in that case, you would have total loans 65 and 450 of 515 on your $500,000 purchase. This is okay. I'm taking it off of this. This is the reason why you're listening to me. This is an example of where it all seems like a great idea. Nothing out of pocket. I get 10% down. I've got a $450,000 loan, and that's what my payment is based off of. The problem arises when you go to refinance 14 months from now, 17 months from now, and you owe 512, 513. If your house goes up in value by 2%, it's worth 510, you owe 513, you ain't refinancing. So that's where some people can get in trouble. Art T, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate you. Al, you're very welcome. Fire away any and all questions. I gotta jump off of here by 3:30. I got people to talk to, loans to submit. Can it be used to pay off debt? The answer is no. Can they get cash back? The answer is heck no. When is the shared appreciation loan due and payable? you transfer title, you sell the property, you're trying to pay off the first loan, which is a refinance. So keep in mind, you're going to have to pay this thing off. And, you know, that shared appreciation when you sell it, transfer it, or try to refinance it, pay it off. Refinance the first loan. Oh, you know what? See program handbook for details. They might resubordinate once. I think I read that somewhere. What happens if the borrower pays off the first loan, stays in the home? If the first loan gets paid off, you got to pay back that shared appreciation loan, including their appreciation. There is a cap. You get $100K in assistance. The most the borrower will ever repay is 2.5 times the original loan amount. So that's good. There's a cap. What is the basis for determining the appreciation? When the property is sold, it's based on the sale price. In any other instance, the appreciation must be based on appraised value of the property obtained in accordance with the program's terms, yada, 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 minus the lesser of the original sales price equals net appreciation. Makes sense to me. What happens if the home goes down in value? You still got to pay them back the assistance. You just don't have to pay them on a gain because there ain't none. That makes sense to me. All right, 6 to 6. That's it. Hopefully this was helpful. Thursday, I got a long form video that comes out. Same type of information. As always, any and all questions you have, I'm more than happy to answer. Fire away a question in the comments. Matt the Mortgage Guy on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of the places. Fire me a message. I'm happy to help. If you want to connect me and my team, greatmortgagebroker.com. We're licensed in 48 states. We're more than happy to help. We really enjoy this stuff. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. And thank you, Mr. Joey Garessi. Kings, go light the beam, guys. This beam is going to be the best beam we've lit in a long time, because if we light the beam tonight, it means we ended the season for the Golden State Warriors. And I'm not a man who wishes bad on anybody, but they done knocked us out last year, and they do for us to give them a little bit of payback. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.